Hello.
Yes, sir. Hey, Naman, hi.
Hi Ganesh, hi. Hi everyone.
Hi.
Hello Naman, how are you?
I'm good, Shalini. Hi Harsh, hi Arun.
Is the web technology which is owned by the central authority mostly, like the database is owned by some companies such as the Facebook database and the Google database it can be, and we like it owns by this a particular organization or the body. I mean, Web3 can't anybody can't own the database or the control on the web or the system, like it is distributed in the Web3 system. This is like
Okay,
basic gist of.
okay, cool. So, same. What is Web2? The Harsh is totally correct. Like, it is a centralized authority. There is like everyone, no one can own their own data. Okay, but in Web3, there is owning of, or ownership is different kind of thing. Okay, so moving to ahead about what is its boot camp. Okay, so a boot camp, like there are many internships opportunity and many training. They simulate a boot camp is. Okay, so we designed it for the students, those who are learning by themselves or wanna boost or wanna like some idea what they can do, and with the help of we are here. So yeah, later on we will cover more of the topics and the key features of the bootcamp. First, it is an exciting 10 days. Like we are not doing in one day only. We are converting it into in 10 days. 5 days we will cover Web 2 basics, and rest will cover about Web 3 basics and some tab we will build on it. Okay, and there are more things with ZBYTE and DevStation that are like if you build an ex- exciting dApp, okay, which is decentralized application, we are having something, okay, for those guys. Okay, so yeah, so bootcamp is for everyone, whether it is a college student, whether it is a like school student or the working one who knows who need help to get started with these things. Okay, so yeah, about DevStation. So DevStation is a community of tech enthusiasts who want to learn and grow in that field of technology. We already
I think
successfully conducted. Yeah,
Ganesh, you need to share your screen. You need to share your screen.
sorry, sorry.
And you guys can stop us whenever you feel like that there's some part if it's missing and if you're not able to understand, please feel free to, raise your hand and then we are happy to help. So yeah.
Yeah, is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, cool. So
But you need to
yeah,
go on to your slide. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
yeah, actually, yeah. Sorry for the. Okay, I thought I shared it. So yeah, so it is a boot camp. Okay, of 10 days. We already, I already talked about it. Okay, what is boot camp and how it is gone. The bootcamp is a training program designed to help one develop their skills one need to succeed and to choose a career. Like it's a helping program for everyone, like whether to start, how to start, and how to get opportunity in that. Okay. So about the Bootcamp Chronicles. Bootcamp Chronicles is about Web 2 to Web 3. Okay. So we divide into three parts, two parts. First 5 days we will cover in Web 2 and rest we will cover Web 3. Okay. It's a collaborative event which is done by DevStation and ZBYTE. Okay. And also ZBYTE, we will talk about ZBYTE later. Yeah, DevStation is here. DevStation always packed students from everywhere across the India. We have reach of 15 plus colleges, 1,000 plus students are already board with us. And I guess some find their first internship with us. Yeah. So it is ZByte. Naman, would you like to talk about ZByte by yourself or would I should?
Yeah, sure. So, guys, ZByte is basically, you can think of us as a platform, and will definitely over the course of a time when you will keep on learning this, cohort, you will first move to, of course, he'll tell you, Kanishk, about the entire thing. But you can think ZByte is a low code, no code platform. Think about like a WordPress, what they have done for the Web2 world, right? They have simplified the website building for the developers, right? The same thing we are trying to do for the developers, that hey, you don't need to learn any code, you don't need to learn how to write a smart contract or whatever, all these Web3 complex things. You don't need to learn anything. You can simply come onto our platform and you can build low code tabs, right? And you can even deploy it onto the actual blockchain. You don't need to own any cryptocurrency. You don't need to write any smart contract. Simply just come, drag, drop features, build a tab, and deploy it onto the blockchain. That's what ZByte really do. So yeah, we'll definitely get into detail, at a later stage. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, this is the timeline which we will gonna follow. Okay, first day like today we will talk about HTML and CSS. Later on, second day we will talk about JavaScript and DOM manipulation. Okay, then front end framework like Next, React, Vue, Angular. We will talk little about it, but we will choose React as a primary option for the Web3 part. Okay, then the project we will make in the next 2 days, we will connect with the backend, okay, and also create some API so that you can understand how to build a full stack app in just 4 days. After like completing this task, the last is web security and deployment. Like many of you maybe build many apps, but sometimes you need to know how to make a app or app scalable. Okay, whether the requests are more, how to make it more. Okay, like there are many cloud functions over there, but you need to build something on your own. Okay, prevent the cost of it. Okay, same with next like the three basics, then building blocks of blockchain, how it is built and rest, the blockchain app architecture and other about it. Then some series, okay, basics of Ethereum and all. Hands-on, like how proper dApp built and connect with the smart contract and deploy it. Okay, we will cover all the small to high topic in these days. And rest, if you have any doubt, you can just ping us anytime wherever you want. Okay. So yeah, to be continued. So today's topic will be taken by Ratan Dev Singh. Ratan is over to you.
थैंक यू कनिष्क सो गाइस आप लोग जल्दी से एक बार चैट में लिख दो कि आप लोग कौन कौन से कॉलेज से हो और आप लोग कौन कौन से ईयर से हो.
Harsh, which tab? Okay, which tab? So Naman, which tab we are building?
Okay, so Harsh, I'll just give you a brief idea. So since Kanik showed the entire timeline, So I think we will go with that timeline. So the tab that we will be building will be a greeting card NFT tab. So imagine that you want to mint an NFT, and you need to have like a particular image, right? Maybe you can use the generative AI tool, like say DALI or like say anything, ChatGPT or something. You're giving a prompt, you are getting an image. Now, that will be like a unique image that you want to actually mint as an NFT. So we will be building an NFT minter dApp on ZBYTE. So yeah, but that will be like a process eventually. But I'll suggest you guys. So what I think a lot of you might want to explore, till the time we reach at that session. So I'll just drop in our website link in the chat section, right? So this is the chat section, and I'll also sort of share the dplat link in case if you want to explore even beforehand, that also you can do, but we have to, for everyone else we need to actually go like a process by process and a step by step approach. But I've shared these two links in the chat. So on the first link you will get all the details and information. On the second link that I've shared, you can actually build a tab on this particular platform. So yeah, does that answer your question, Harsh? Do you have any other question? Okay, perfect. Maybe I'll show you at the end, how does that look, so that you guys can explore till the time we actually explain, right? So maybe at the later, once Kanishk is done, I'll share my screen and I'll show you what it is, and then you can try it as well.
Okay, Naman. So, guys, let's move forward with the Web2 journey. Okay. So today is the day one of boot camp. So on day one, we will be learning about some basics of internet and web, and later on we will be seeing some basics of HTML and CSS. So talking about some internet things, how a website is brought to us. So let's move forward. When we type a URL in the web browser, what happens? The domain name like www.google.com. We type www.google.com. So it is a domain name. We know that we can visit sites or visit servers. We identify servers with IP addresses. So DNS comes in picture. DNS is a thing which translates or maps domain name into the IP addresses. If I show you some example, like if I write a command like ping www.google.com. So what happens here? We can see there is an IP address here, and we have typed a domain name. So what DNS is doing, it is translating or mapping this domain name into this IP address. This is the IP address of google.com. Okay, so DNS stands for domain name server. When the IP address is resolved, there is a protocol named Transmission Control Protocol. It is a transport layer protocol. I think Harsh is in final year, so he must have studied computer networks, and he have learned about TCP in computer networks. So TCP is transport layer protocol, transmission control protocol. So what TCP does? TCP एक डेडिकेटेड पाथ बनाता है हमारे क्लाइंट और सर्वर के बीच में. अब क्योंकि हमें आईपी एड्रेस मिल चुका है, तो हमारे क्लाइंट और उस आईपी एड्रेस जहाँ पे वो सर्वर लोकेटेड है उसके बीच में एक डेडिकेटेड पाथ बनेगा, और वो पाथ एक 3-वे हैंडशेकिंग मैकेनिज्म होती है, उसके थ्रू बनता है. अब जब वो पाथ बन चुका है, तब हम HTTP रिक्वेस्ट भेजना और रिसीव करना स्टार्ट करते हैं हमारे क्लाइंट और सर्वर के बीच में. HTTP रिक्वेस्ट जो होती हैं वो रिक्वेस्ट और रिस्पॉन्स मॉडल पे काम करती हैं, और ये जो हाइपर टेक्स्ट होते हैं और मीडिया होती हैं उसको इंटरनेट के थ्रू हम शेयर करते हैं HTTP रिक्वेस्ट. ये एप्लीकेशन लेयर की प्रोटोकॉल होती है. इसके बाद अगर हम देखें तो www क्या होता है. काफी लोगों को, इवन मुझे भी, जब मैं शुरू शुरू में इस फील्ड में आया तो काफी कंफ्यूजन रहता था कि एक्चुअली इंटरनेट और वेब एक ही है, ऐसा मुझे लगता था। पर जब काफी और पढ़ा मैंने तो समझ में आया कि एक्चुअली दोनों थोड़ी डिफरेंट चीजें हैं। इंटरनेट इज अ फिजिकल थिंग, देर आर काउंटलेस डिवाइसेस इन द ग्लोब which are connected, which are interconnected. So they form a physical connection. They form a internet. The thing is called internet. And the services which we are hosting on that internet, the services which we are using on that internet are called, we can say that they are web. Okay. So www or simply web, it is a service which we can use using HTTP. Okay. So when we have learned these protocols and www, let's dive into the history of web. So Web 1.0, this was the first generation of web. It was like, fetching and reading information only. No user interaction. These were like just newspaper articles that we have some subscriptions and we can read only that articles. We cannot interact with them. And this was the era of 1990 to 2000. After that, Web 2.0 comes in the picture. And this was the second stage of web. Some, modifications or, drawbacks of Web 1.0 were eliminated in this technology. Like we can now interact with the web pages. We can now contribute or, create articles of our own. These web pages were responsive to the user input. And this is the technology which we are currently using. Applications of Web 2.0 is like social media, which we use, and podcasting, blogging, etc. Now talking about the future. So future is like we all are hearing from previous years that Web 3 is the future. This is the third generation of www. Web 2.0 solves the limitation of Web 1.1, which was like interacting of user. But this was the focus. This was focused on the front end part. Web 3 is focused on the back end part, like Harsh shared in the starting of bootcamp. That today's Web 2.0 is like centralized and owned by companies like Facebook, Google. So Web 3.0 solves this. Now using Web 3.0, we can own the data. We can own the backend, some part of backend. So this works on distributed ledger technology, and of course here blockchain comes into the picture, which we'll be learning in later part of the bootcamp. Okay, so let's start with the basics of web development. So basics starts with the code editor part, where we have to write our code. We have to choose a IDE, whether we can choose VS Code or Sublime Text. So I recommend using VS Code because it has a majority of members which are in community of VS Code. Any errors, there is already any error that you will face, it is covered by community. You can just copy paste that error and Google it, and you will get a solution. Okay. So we will learn basics of HTML and basics of CSS. So let's see what is HTML. So HTML starts for the hypertext markup language. What is hypertext? Hypertext means there a text on which you can click and it will, guide you to some other web page or other resource. That is hypertext. And markup language is like, a language which gives us structure to store and display text in web browsers. Okay, so it is not a programming language. So moving forward, थ्योरी पार्ट काफी हो गया है, अब प्रैक्टिकल करते हैं। ठीक है, तो प्रैक्टिकल अगर हम देखें, सो अगर मैं यहाँ पे एक इंडेक्स HTML बना दूं फाइल, ठीक है, तो अगर हम बात करें तो HTML क्या है, अगर मैं इस टैग की बात करूं तो ये टैग जो है ये हमारे रूट टैग बता रहा है कि HTML इज द रूट टैग। ओके, और ये डॉक टाइप जो है ये मेरे ब्राउजर को बता रहा है कि ये जो डॉक्यूमेंट टाइप है दिस इज HTML टाइप। अब अगर ये रूट टैग है तो इसके अंदर दो टैग आते हैं, एक होता है हेड टैग हमारा, एक होता है बॉडी टैग। काफी लोग, इवन मैं भी शुरू में काफी कंफ्यूज था कि हेड टैग का काम क्या होता है। ये तो जो भी हमें दिखाना होता है वो तो हम बॉडी टैग के अंदर ही लिखते हैं। सो व्हाट डज दिस हेड टैग डू? Actually, the metadata or the data of data, the whatever we are going to display here, the data about that thing will be here. जो हम अंदर टेक्स्ट लिखने वाले हैं उसकी इनकोडिंग कैसी होगी, उसका टाइटल क्या होगा, जो लिंक्स और स्क्रिप्ट्स होंगी जो हम इस वेब पेज में यूज करने वाले हैं, वो यहाँ पे हम डिफाइन करेंगे। ओके, सो हेड सेक्शन कंटेन्स द मेटा डेटा ऑफ द वेब पेज, और बॉडी टैग के अंदर जो हमारे एलिमेंट्स होंगे जो हमें डिस्प्ले कराने हैं अपने वेब पेज पे, वो यहाँ पे रहेगा। ओके, सो अगर मैं बात करूं तो टैग्स या एलिमेंट्स, एलिमेंट्स बेसिकली दो तरह के होते हैं। एक होता है ब्लॉक, एक होता है इनलाइन। अब ब्लॉक और इनलाइन में फर्क क्या है? अगर मैं ब्लॉक टैग्स की बात करूं, ब्लॉक एलिमेंट्स की बात करूं, तो ब्लॉक एलिमेंट्स वो होते हैं जो राइट टू लेफ्ट पूरा एक जगह कवर कर लें, और वहीं पे इनलाइन, इनलाइन केवल उतनी जगह कवर करेंगे जितना उनका कंटेंट है। अगर मैं एग्जांपल दूं तो आप सबने डिव और स्पैन के बारे में सुना होगा, डिव टैग एंड स्पैन टैग। ओके, तो क्या है ये डिव और स्पैन टैग? Basically, both div and span tag are, these are container. These are used to group elements. तो div और span में फिर फर्क क्या है? अगर div भी हमारा कंटेनर है और ग्रुप करता है, span भी हमारा कंटेनर और ग्रुप करता है, तो फर्क क्या है? फर्क यहाँ पे है कि div एक ब्लॉक एलिमेंट है और span जो है वो एक हमारा इनलाइन एलिमेंट है। अगर मैं आपको एग्जांपल दूं, जैसे मैंने यहाँ पे एक div बनाया है, चलिए div भी मैं दो कर लेता हूँ इस बार को, ठीक है, और तीन स्पैन बनाए। तो जैसा कि मैंने बताया कि ब्लॉक जो एलिमेंट होते हैं वो पूरी जगह ले लेते हैं, और जो इनलाइन होते हैं वो उतनी जगह लेंगे जिनकी जितना उनका कंटेंट है। अगर मैं इसको देखूं अपने वेब पेज पे कैसा ये दिखेगा, देखते हैं, तो हम देख पा रहे हैं कि ये जो div है वो देखिए पूरी जगह ले रहा है बिकॉज ये ब्लॉक एलिमेंट है, और वहीं पे स्पैन जो है वो देखिए इनलाइन था तो वो एक ही लाइन में आ गया। ठीक है, तो ये बेसिक दो तरह के एलिमेंट्स होते हैं, एक ब्लॉक और एक इनलाइन। और एक बात, जैसे हम अपनी विड्थ और हाइट, काफी लोग यहाँ पे सीएसएस जानते होंगे, तो अगर विड्थ और हाइट की बात करें तो वो हम अपने ब्लॉक एलिमेंट्स को दे सकते हैं, पर इनलाइन एलिमेंट्स को हम नहीं दे सकते। तो अगर हम चाहते हैं कि हम अपने इनलाइन एलिमेंट्स हैं उनको भी हम उनकी विड्थ और हाइट दे सकें, तो उनकी एक प्रॉपर्टी होती है डिस्प्ले, डिस्प्ले ब्लॉक इनलाइन। हम ये प्रॉपर्टी देके उनको उनकी विड्थ और हाइट सेट कर सकते हैं। ओके, सो मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, हमारा डिव और स्पैन तो हो गया। लेट्स टॉक अबाउट सम फर्दर टैग्स। तो टैग्स क्या होता है? पहले तो टैग्स हमारे पास कह लीजिए एक प्री डिफाइंड वर्ड्स हैं जिनके अंदर हम अपने टेक्स्ट को लिख सकते हैं। अब वो टेक्स्ट कैसा होगा, कैसा दिखेगा हमारे वेब पेज पे, वो क्या कहते हैं, वो रिजॉल्व होता है कि वो टैग कैसा है। अब जैसे कि हेडिंग्स, अगर हेडिंग्स की बात करें तो देयर आर 6 टाइप ऑफ हेडिंग्स स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम H1 straight to H6। ओके, देयर आर 6 टाइप ऑफ हेडिंग्स। H1 जो होता है वो लार्जेस्ट होता है और इसका जो साइज होता है डिफॉल्ट वो 32 पिक्सल्स के अराउंड होता है, और वहीं पे जो H6 होता है उसका जो साइज होता है वो अराउंड 11 पिक्सल्स होता है, और ये ग्रेजुअली डिक्रीज होते आते हैं फ्रॉम H1 to H6, like H2, H3, H4 and H5, H6। ओके, अगर इसको मैं देखूं तो ये ऐसा कुछ दिखेगा। यू सी द डिफरेंस? ओके, सो मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, हेडिंग्स तो हो गई। अब बात करते हैं टैग्स और एट्रीब्यूट्स। अगर टैग्स मैंने बताया अभी कि हमें कौन सा टेक्स्ट को कैसे स्ट्रक्चर करना है, उसके लिए हम टैग्स यूज करते हैं। अब उन टैग्स की जो प्रॉपर्टी होती है उसको डिफाइन करने के लिए हम कुछ एट्रीब्यूट्स यूज करते हैं। Some tags have their own particular attributes, and there are some attributes which are required. Like if we talk about ing tag, image tag, then src attribute and alternate attribute are required. Okay, src defines the path of image which we want to display, and Alternate attribute defines the data or text which we want to display if that image is not loaded or not found. Okay. Similarly, anchor tags are used to create hyperlinks. So there is a attribute href. Stands for hyperlink reference, I can say. So this is a required attribute of anchor tag. If you will not use href, then there will be some warnings. Okay, so it is better to use href. Even if you are not using, we can just pass a hashtag in the href tag, href attribute. Okay, so moving forward, there are some. There are basically form tag is very important. Form tag is very important. We have, if we want to create a further, Kanish talk about some project we will be building. So we will be building some authentication app in which we will authenticate user, in which he can create his account using email and password. Later on, he can log in using his email password. So there we will be using form. Okay. So form tag is important. Inside form, we have some input fields, and there are multiple input fields like types of input like checkbox, text, password, radio. Okay. So we'll be covering all that in our projects. Moving forward, talking about CSS. So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets, and it is also not a programming language. Okay. So CSS is used for styling HTML elements, and there are three types of CSS: inline, internal, and external. So what is inline? So here, if I have a div, let's say I have a div. Okay. If I want to give a border to that div, there are three options. I can style it using inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. So let's first style it using inline CSS. तो inline CSS हम दे सकते हैं कि style attribute का यूज करके उसके अंदर हम जो भी स्टाइल अपनी देना चाहते हैं वो हम यहाँ पे लिख सकते हैं. And like I want to give border, so I type border. I want the width of border to be 1 pixel, and styling will be solid, and color will be black. Okay. So let's see. Here I got the border. So this was the example of inline CSS. Now if I want to use internal CSS, so I have to use a tag named style. And we can define it inside the head tag because we do not want to display it, or we do not need to display it. Okay. So removing inline CSS, let's write some internal CSS. Before moving forward with internal CSS and external CSS, we have to know about selectors. So selectors in CSS are like some, aliases for the elements to which element we are targeting. Like here we are if we want to target this div. So we can give style using three selectors. First is tag selector, second one is ID selector, and third one is class selector. So tag selector is simple. I will write the tag name which I want to target in the web page, and I will just give the style like border 1 pixel solid black. Okay. So what this will do, it will target all the divs present in my web page, and it will give border to each one of them. Okay. So if I have two divs, then it will give border to each one of them. Okay. Let's see. See. But what if we want to? What will we do if we want to give styling to only that particular this particular div? So here comes in picture the ID selector and class selector. So ID selector is nothing but an attribute defined in the tag, and the name or ID, like I want to give it div1 ID. And we will remove that tag selector and we will write our ID selector. ID selector can be triggered using hashtag. Okay. So ID is div1. Now what we'll do? It will just target this particular div. Okay. Let's see. See, it is just targeting the div1 and not div2. Okay. So this is the ID selector, but here comes the class selector. What if you want some group of elements in our web page to be target simultaneously? So we use the group selector, class selector. Class selector is triggered or declared using dot element. Okay. So if we write like dot div2, it will target our this element. Okay. If I have another div which has the same class name, it will target both of them. Okay. See here. Okay. Now this was the internal CSS. What is external CSS? External CSS is nothing but just this content inside the style tag written in some another file which has extension of .css. Okay, but how will this index.html will know that this style.css is for index.html have to use this style? So here comes the linking part. In starting of the HTML part, I discussed the head tag is used for metadata. Okay, so we have to link our style sheet here. Okay, by doing this, I have told my index.html that it has to link this style sheet in it. Okay, so let's see if we are getting the same results or not. Okay, so we are getting same results. Okay, so this is the external CSS. External CSS has its own advantages, like we can reuse it in multiple files. We can't use internal and inline CSS in multiple files. So this was basic of CSS. One important thing is box model. So what is box model? If I go to the toolkit and scroll down, we'll see this image. So this is the box model. If I select this particular element, and we can see this. Okay. So what is box model? Box model is margin, border, padding, and content itself. So whatever the we give width, height, that is applicable to this center part, which is content part, and the padding which we give will be between the content and border. Okay, like if I give this padding here, padding 40 pixel, let's say. See, the padding comes between the content and the border. Okay, and if I give margin, then margin will be outside the border. Okay, see, okay, so this is the box model. बॉक्स मॉडल का यूज करके हम किसी भी एलिमेंट को एक काफी अच्छी तरह से, काफी डीपली हम समझ सकते हैं कि वो कैसे है, कहाँ पे है, क्या काम कर रहा है. ओके, so this was the basic of HTML and CSS. From tomorrow onwards, we will be learning JavaScript and DOM manipulation, and further we will learn about React, Node, Express, and we'll at the end of Web2 journey, we will having a authentication app. We will be connecting front end, back end, etc. Okay. Over to you, Kanishk. If anybody has some doubts, they can ask.
Okay, thank you, Ratan. Guys, have today was literally first day, and we think for making this app authentication, because as we already know, Web2 is all about centralized data, and Web3 is for decentralization. So via authentication, you will see how when you enter the data on your console of any website and how it is stored in their backend services, how they used against you, how they use for marketing you, for analyzing on you. So for that, we will build two projects. One is form, okay, and we will use that form for the authentication. And as Naman already told you, for in Web3 part, we will build a dApp which will mint NFT of greetings. Okay. So these are the three projects which we will build in next 9 days. Okay. If there any query, any like anything you would like to ask or add on to this bootcamp, we are happy to hear you guys. Okay, Ashish, Rishabh, Ayush, Vishwadeep, Arushi.
Great. So I think hopefully you found this session insightful. A lot of new things you must have learned, and it's a process, and we'll be taking this journey ahead, and you'll be learning everything bit by bit, even the Web3 basics. We have like complete structured process that we really want to sort of teach you guys, right? So it's just that we'll finish the Web2 part first, and then we'll move to the Web3 world, right? So that is you can definitely do. And just to give like an idea or something, if you guys want, I can just share my screen and show you the website part so that whenever you get time, you can explore at least. So uh, if you go on zbyte.io, this is the website that you will find. Right, I've already shared the link. You can read everything about here, and here is the platform. Get started. So this is the platform. You don't need to have a wallet or something. You can simply just log in, right? And here's the developers, basically all the knowledge and documentation, right? Under the developer tab, documentation. So it will take you here. So I will not discuss this in detail right now because a set process we have prepared for you all. That's why I'm not actually, showing you everything. Otherwise, I would love to. I mean, I really want you to teach a lot of Web3 stuff. I'm trying to hold myself back a lot. Ganesh knows this, that how much I really love talking about Web3 and how much I really, talk about the entire blockchain technology. I mean, if Kanish allow me, I can sit for like this 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. and I can teach you guys everything. And you either you will be able to sleep peacefully, or either you will not be able to sleep peacefully because you'll learn a lot of things, right? But we need to go via like a small set process that Kanish showed. So I would request you keep making notes and all, whatever you have learned so far today. Let's do this. Just write day one, on Twitter or LinkedIn, and just write whatever was your learning from today's session, right? In a bullet point approach. Tag DevStation, tag ZByte as well, so that we can document your journey, right? And then that's how we can sort of move ahead and march ahead in terms of our final goal. So at the end, you'll get a lot of rewards as well. You'll get a lot of NFTs as well. So a lot of stuff is there for you all, that we have, right? No worries, Ayush. Even if you have missed today's session, it's absolutely fine. It was just the beginning, so that in tomorrow you can also sort of catch up that way. So I'll see you, tomorrow. And once this Web2 part is done, we'll move towards the Web3 part, which is, of course, the interesting part as well, right? So also the links are there, so you can definitely try and explore any other thing as well. So yeah.
Ayush, don't worry. Like we also have recordings of today's session, and we will surely post it on YouTube. From there, you can like understand what we could teach or learn today. Okay. Is there any doubt or any other question? Yeah. Straight away. Okay. Okay, guys. I guess let's wrap up.
Yes, perfect, perfect. So who all are going to post about this session today? Just write yes in the comments if you're going to post something about today. That's great. Amazing, amazing. Sounds good. You can tag, DevStation. I'll share the, Twitter link of both. Kanish, can you share the Twitter link of DevStation in the chat box that everyone, it will
Yeah.
be easier for everyone to sort of, find. So this is the Twitter link. You can tag, and if you want to tag, like even me or Kanesh, if you are really excited, then definitely I'm sharing mine as well. Please share your LinkedIn ID. Okay, there you go. We would love to chat with you on LinkedIn, Twitter. Just feel free to DM, message, whatever. We keep sharing a lot of stuff. So Kanesh has already shared his, and Kanesh just shared DevStation as well so that they can tag.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
So good to see a lot of people are going to talk about this thing, and it really, it will really help us amplify the voice so that we can have like more and more people sort of joining in and learning about the entire Web3. Web3 is like a big, big, big domain and a very revolutionary thing. So I would suggest stick to the fundamental basics as Ganesh was teaching, and we will keep talking about the Web3 stuff, on and off mode. So yeah, perfect. So yes, share all the links. Just copy somewhere and just put it maybe in your email box or whatever, and then you can later on other, because once you leave this meeting, these links won't be available. So just copy all these links so that you'll be able to
The
find
first one was
all.
like,
Yeah, perfect. All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Naman.
Thank you. Bye, bye, bye. Thank you.